Hello everybody and welcome to my week 3 team builder versus Jack and Ev and the Memphis Ursarings. He has a team of Chiron Black, Nidoqueen, Whimsicott, Rotom Heat, Zoroark, Barbaracle, Mega Gyarados, Scizor, Azelf, Metacham, and Haunter. So biggest threats I'm looking at this game are Chiron is scary, especially because it's a Z mover. Nidoqueen I do not switch well into, so Nidoqueen's a bit scary. Barbaracle is extremely scary because I have nothing that resists its stab, and yeah, it can set up and easily win, especially with its Z move. So I definitely need to be very careful about that. Mega Gyarados is a hair scary, and Zoroark and Azelf are both scary in that you never know what they're gonna do or what coverage they'll have. But I think I can deal with both of them. The rest of the things on this team I'm not too worried about. So team I brought is the same stick as last week actually, but with completely different sets. So first is my Zygarde. It's Choice Band. I decided not to bring Dragon Dance because I do not like the fact that that he has Prankster with a Whimsicott and can stun Spore and paralyze this. So I did not want to try and be setting up and winning in a game where he has a Whimsicott with priority status moves. So this is Zygarde. His only switch into Thousand Arrows. Zygarde has a really good matchup other than Whimsicott because that's his only switch in, assuming it's physically defensive. Otherwise, it's actually getting to it killed. But other than that, he does not switch into it in a manner where he doesn't get to it killed. Like Chiron can take one and threaten back, but he really does not want to do that. I've got Extreme Speed. It's because Extreme Speed Band is really good. I can actually definitely see myself winning this game with Extreme Speed Band because I have a lot of normal spam coming in with Lopunny, and his only normal resists are Barbaracle, which is a win con that you usually don't want taking damage, and Scizor, which doesn't have a fantastic matchup. So I can definitely, and Haunter, but that doesn't resist Lopunny, and is really not a good Pokemon. So I really do like Extreme Speed in this game. Iron Tail is just if I ever decide that I need to make the prediction on a Whimsicott coming in, I can do that and do massive damage to it, possibly kill it depending on the spread. This Zygarde is just fast enough to outrun Mega Gyarados no matter what. So next is Metagross. This is Choice Scarf. Originally I had it as Shuka, and this is my answer to Chiron. Originally I had this as Shuka, so that I could take Chiron's Earth Power and hit back, and it was max attack, adamant, max HP Shuka. But I decided I'd rather have Scarf, and the reason I decided I'd rather have Scarf, Scarf is just good in general because it outspeeds a lot of his team, and it helps me. It makes it so that Chiron can't land a single move on me, or maybe like a Ground DMZ, which I doubt he would have, but you never know. But Scarf is just good in my opinion, and I'll give the other reason. I have another reason, but I do like that it can come in and it's EV to be 1 point faster than Chiron with a Scarf, no matter what, even max speed Chiron. Which max speed Chiron is definitely a realistic possibility here, because he wants to outspeed Crocodile. But where are we? What I'm worried about, Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen makes a lot of sense as an answer to stop Zygarde with a Shuka Berry to lure it in and kill it. And in the past games, he's used Jack and Ev has used a lot of berries, and I'm expecting him to use more to try and prevent setup. And Zygarde's one of the most threatening things on my team. And it just makes so much sense to stop it because it always lives it, especially if he brings physically defensive. It'll only take like 50 from the 1,000 arrows after the Shuka activates. And then he gets off the Ice Beam and it's a guaranteed kill with no investment. So I'm thinking physically defensive or even just max HP. Max HP lives it fine with max special attack. Shuka Nidoqueen is making a lot of sense to lure in and kill my Zygarde, and I'm thinking that Jack will be bringing it to beat me. So I really wanted an alternative in that situation because as you'll see later, I'm going to be bringing my Zapdos a lot against a lot of things, and Zapdos gives him a free switch into Nidoqueen, and I have U-turn on my Zapdos to gain momentum in that situation. And at first I was like, that's good, because if he brings a Nidoqueen, I can just come in with Zygarde and 1,000 Arrows and pick up my kill. But I was like, that makes so much sense to have Shuka in that scenario. So I really wanted to have Metagross for a fast Zen Headbutt, which is another move that also guarantee kills Nidoqueen. And now that I mention it, I should actually probably calc. Actually, I've imported this. I forgot I imported this, so I can just look at my actual set. Where's it? Customs. This is the one I want. Versus Nido. That's not right. Nidoqueen. Zen Headbutt. That's actually no investment. Actually, this is maybe not quite as ideal as I thought, but still, it's an alternative to bringing in my Zygarde and letting it die. Is that I can Zen Headbutt it instead. However, if I do that, I do need to be careful about Kyurem. So yeah, do have to be careful if he's defensive. I should get at least a little chip on it with U-turn though. So if he's max HP, this is with a Life Orb. So it actually is only a roll to kill me, assuming max special attacks. That's actually not too bad. And how much is Zapdos' U-turn gonna do to it? 5 to 7. That makes the calc a little bit more favorable, even if it's max HP. So it's still not a terrible situation for me. But anyways, that's the reason I wanted it, was to avoid the Nidoqueen Shuka. Next is my Lopunny. Lopunny's got the double priority fake out quick attack, which pretty much equates to having extreme speed on a Lopunny, except like you can break it up into pieces. I really like fake out because it lets me scout a lot of sets and get free damage. Free stab fake outs on Lopunny is going to add up to a lot of free damage, and it gives a lot of scouting information. I can see how much HP people are running without any risk of my own. And fake out into quick attack is always just 80 base power priority, which is nice, especially because he's got Mega Gyarados and Barbaracle, both of which are really scary. So having priority to chip at Barbaracle if it gets too low and out of hand is good. If it shell smashes and he's not Mental Herb, then that does, I believe, like 30 to 40. I'll calc it though, to be sure. Lopunny versus Barbaracle Shell Smash. Fake out into return. This is my old Lopunny set. What am I doing? There we are. At -1 defense. Yeah, fake out does a minimum of 34 and a maximum of 40. So that's pretty solid. And he probably shouldn't be running any HP, because to outspeed a Scarf Crook, which is probably a smart bring, or would be a smart to assume that I would bring, because it's a great answer to Gyarados, and I am bringing it, then he needs to be naive. So he can't run much HP investment if he wants to be prepared for that scenario. Otherwise, I can just revenge him with Crook easily. So yeah, Lopunny is good for priority. He does not switch well into it at all either. The only thing that he can bring into it that doesn't get 2-hit killed is Scizor. And Scizor does do decently against it, but Scizor, I have no problem with Scizor coming in, because it my next member, Zapdos, switches into it very well. Zapdos is here to switch into Whimsicott and Gyarados well. It's not afraid of Whimsicott's Stun Sport, because being an electric type, it cannot be paralyzed. And it is not afraid of, and it comes in well in Scizor. It can threaten both with a Heat Wave. It can discharge to prevent Gyarados and Barbaracle from setting up and give me that 30% chance to paralyze, which he probably shouldn't risk. And U-turn for momentum when I know they're going to switch out. Usually when his Scizor comes in, or when his Whimsicott is in against this, they're never gonna risk they're never gonna risk them, and they're going to switch him out. Or if I'm in a scenario where I'm sure he's not going to risk him, I can U-turn and get myself some momentum, which is why I'm so worried about this interaction with the Nidoqueen, which I'm very highly suspecting to be Shuka. So yeah, it's just max defense for taking on Whimsicott and Scizor well, taking hits from Scizor well, and even Gyarados and Barbaracle to some extent if it has to. And I always good catch me. I forgot to put static. I was saying I always have the chance to static down the Gyarados and the Barbaracle as a last case or a last ditch effort to save myself from losing if I get in a scenario we're setting up. We got static on now. We're good. Next is my Crocodile. I've gone over a lot of what it is already. It's Scarf, Intimidate. It's good for intimidating Gyarados or Barbaracle if they need to be. Knock Off is just great stab. Hits everything hard. Earthquake, great stab. I can definitely see myself winning with Scarf Earthquake because he does not have very many levitators. There's Rotom, which is not a very does not have a very good matchup, and it gives me a free switch into Zygarde every time he brings Rotom out. And giving me switches into Zygarde is very bad for him because he does not have switches to Zygarde besides Whimsicott, which I easily switch into as well. Yeah, so other than that, he's got Azelf, which levitates, but that also does not do well against Knockoff. And that's it for his levitators. He doesn't have any flying types, I don't think, actually. No, he doesn't. Low Kick. I really like Low Kick on this. It's for both Kyurem and Gyarados. This thing is always faster than Gyarados. It's EV'd out speed Gyarados by 1 point, even Jolly max speed. And it'll outrun it even at +1 with the Choice Scarf. And Low Kick always kills Gyarados once it Mega Evolves. It's 120 base power versus Gyarados, super effective. And same thing with Kyurem, 120 base power, super effective on Kyurem, which is really nice. Stone Edge is here so that I'm not walled by Gyarados if he wants to stay in regular form, and also so that I'm not walled by Rotom Heat. So yeah, that's what it's EV'd for. Lastly is my Defensive Shaman. This is here as my stop to both Gyarados and Barbaracle, but mainly Barbaracle, because Barbaracle is very scary, can get off hand. This will never lose to a Barbaracle one-on-one unless the Barbaracle Z move. So if I switch it in on Barbaracle and see that he has the Mental Herb, then I'm just free to Giga Drain and kill him instantly, and there's nothing he can do about it. If he is Z move, Rocky MZ has a chance to kill me. It's in my favor, but he does have a chance to kill. And if he's Acid Downpour or Savage Spin Out, then I do die no matter what. However, if you look at my team, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to bring Rocky MZ, Acid Downpour, or Savage Spin Out for a Shaman, because the main things you're going to notice when you're seeing that, when you're looking at what's going to stop Barbaracle, or Metagross and Zygarde, they're both really bulky on the defensive side and hit back really hard, and both, actually, yeah, Metagross might kill with a Earthquake, but it does a lot, and Zygarde certainly kills. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring Water MZ because it's neutral stab on both of them. Hits really hard, but there is a possibility that it brings that. And if I don't see the Mental Herb and I have something expendable, then I'm certainly going to have to scout for it. Giga Drain is here. I don't not bring Seed Flare because this 1v1's most things better because it gives me that HP back against Gyarados, and both Giga Drain and Seed Flare kill Barbaracle anyways. He will live if he's Rindo Berry this Giga Drain, but I don't think it makes sense to bring a Rindo Berry because against Seed Flare he dies anyways, and Seed Flare, like, even through a Rindo Berry he dies to Seed Flare, so I don't think it makes sense to bring Rindo to stop Giga Drain, even though it will. Synthesis is just for recovery, and HP Electric is so that I can, if I switch in to stop Gyarados and he decides not to Mega Evolve, I can still hit the thing really hard. And Leaf Seed is for the passive recovery if I do end up needing it. And Rocky Helmet's to get that little bit of chip on both Gyarados and Barbaracle if I absolutely need it, so that I can put it in range of my priority users being Bullet Punch, Metagross, the double priority on Lopunny and extreme speed on Zygarde. So I got a lot of priority on this team to try and make sure he never sets up and beats me. So that's the team, and hopefully we can pull out the win.